Good morning everybody, unless of course you're watching this video in the evening. In that case, good evening. You're watching Time Travel TV and welcome to the year 1932. And today we're going to look at how Adolf Hitler went from a rather shady third-rate politician to the great dictator that we all love to learn about in our history lessons. You know what, they're always my favourite history lessons, the one with Nazis in, because they're so interesting to learn about. Anyway, I'm going completely off topic, because hang on, here it comes. Here is the November 1932 election, and hang on, here are the results. The results are through, we are getting these in live. You can say you were actually here when the election took place. So, I will read these in reverse order. The German State Party, 0.9% of the votes, 2 seats. The Christian Social People Service, 1%, 5 seats. The German People's Party, 2%, 11 seats. The Bavarian People's Party, 3%, 20 seats. The German National People's Party, 8%, 51 seats. The Zentrum Party, 12%, 70 seats. The Communist Party of Germany, 16%, 100 seats. The Social Democratic Party, 20%, to 121 seats. The National Socialist German Workers' Party, 33%, 196 seats. And the National Socialist German Workers' Party have it. The National Socialist German Workers' Party have it, and well done. And the leader of that is, a bit small, Adolf Hitler. Well done, Adolf Hitler. Do you want a bit of speech, Mr. Hitler? You want a speech? No speech, never mind. Not in the mood. So, Adolf Hitler did very well in that election, although, as you notice, he didn't get a majority. To get a majority, you need over 50%. So, therefore, that he would have to work together with other parties, which is often the way in proportional representation. Anyway, now, this made President Hindenburg very happy. Because what happened is that he thought to himself, right, I'm not too keen on this left-wing element in Germany, because he was a right-wing chap. Not as right-wing as Hitler, but he was still pretty right-wing. Anyway, so he thought he can use Hitler's popularity to get rid of the communist and socialist elements in Germany. So he put him as the second most important role in Germany, the Chancellor. Big mistake. Although Hitler was very pleased with this, so he started to work immediately. And one of his first challenges came on the 27th of February 1933 with the Reichstag fire, which was started by a Dutch communist called Marinus van der Lubbe. Now, nobody really knows whether it was Marinus or not, or whether it was the Nazis. They get everywhere, the Nazis, don't they? See, it's often thought that the Nazis did it and then set up Marinus van der Lubbe to make the communists look really bad. But it doesn't matter if it was him or not, because what ensued was going to be inevitable. The Reichstag fire decree was issued, where 4,000 communists were arrested, civil liberties were restricted, increased power for central governments, and very harsh punishments for certain crimes, like death penalty for arson. Then, after that, on the 24th of March 1933, Adolf Hitler passed the Enabling Act to the Reichstag. Well, it wasn't through the Reichstag, because the Reichstag had burnt down. They actually were sitting now in a place called Kroll Opera House, which was an opera house in Berlin. So they weren't doing any opera there anymore, they were doing politics. Anyway, so to get this passed, he used the SA, which were his band of professional thugs, which intimidated many of the members to pass the act. Now, the Enabling Act basically said that Hitler can do whatever he wants without consulting the members of the Reichstag. Well, that sounded like a dictator to me, but he wasn't quite a dictator yet. But he started to act a lot like one. He then passed his next act, which was a Civil Service Act, on the 7th of April 1933, which dismissed all the non-Nazis and all non-Aryans from civil service. Now, the trade unions were being quite vocal. They wanted a Labour Day to be a national holiday on the 1st of May. So Hitler said, yes, I'll give that to you. So he did. And then the next day, on the 2nd, he disbanded them all. Hooray! Well, not quite hooray, but he replaced them with the DAF, which is not a Dutch lorry company. It is actually the German, or the Nazi trade unions. Then on the 10th of May was the book burnings, which I'm sure you've all heard about, or read about, or learnt about, or however you've heard or come to know about. And the book burnings took place in Berlin. I've actually been to the square where they did the book burnings in Berlin. It's great. If you get the opportunity, you must go. Then on the 14th of July 1933 was the act to ban new parties, which was an act that banned new parties. Then they sort of sat in their hands for a bit. We didn't do much in the way of policy making until 1934, the 30th of June. Now, what happened was that the essay we've mentioned before was run by a chap called Ernst Röhm. And Röhm, well, he was a bit big for his boots. See, the essay was growing. It had 3 million members, and the army only had 100,000 because it was restricted by the Treaty of Versailles. So that's put the army on one side. Ernst Röhm wanted the essay to replace the army, get rid of the army. But Hitler needed the army on side. So Ernst Röhm and the essay were getting a bit too more reliability. So he decided on the 30th of June 1934, in the night of the long knives, to do away with them. And Ernst Röhm was killed, along with many other high-ranking essay people, and the essay were old news. Then, on the 1st of August 1934, a very sad thing happened. President Hindenburg died. Anyway, this is very sad. Not only because dying is a very sad thing, but Hitler thought, ooh, I see my opportunity here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the act concerning head of state, because the enabling act is I can do whatever I want. The act concerning head of state was an act that concerned head of state. And what it basically said was that we're going to take the role of the Chancellor and the role of the President, and we're going to merge them together to make one role, the Fuhrer. And with that, Adolf Hitler was the Fuhrer and was a dictator. Now, many of you watching this and think, oh yeah, it was obvious that's what Hitler wanted right from the very start, to be a dictator. But the thing is, you have to remember is that you're using hindsight. You know the outcome already. These people didn't. They just wanted Hitler in power because Hitler offered them exactly what they wanted. He just turned around and said, hey, I've got a great policy, you can have exactly what you want, you can have exactly what you want, and you can have exactly what you want. And usually that gets politicians in power, doesn't it? And that's what Hitler promised. Everybody got what they wanted. So it's easy to understand, or not difficult to understand, why Hitler appeals to people. But we must remember, not always to yield to be giving exactly what we want all the time. We must use history as our hindsight. And with that, I will bid you a farewell. If you enjoyed this video, you may subscribe and watch many more of my videos. But until then, cheerio!